started trying to talk about purpose, and it's practically impossible to discuss the issue of purpose until we discuss the issue of identity, and I'll tell you why. Like I said, your identity is your who are you, and your purpose is your why of your existence. And if we don't find a true meaning to the question of who am I, the question of identity, it may be difficult for you to separate yourself from what you do. And that's what many people hide under. We hide under what we do. So when we fail in what we do, we see ourselves as a failure. And failing in what you do doesn't make you a failure. Because failure is an event. You are a person. And many of us have been conditioned in a way that we have turned ourselves to what we do. So we are human doing, not human being. That's why we are not living. Because until you find your identity, you can't really live. Because you start looking for things to make you find who you are. You do things to help you decide where you are. But in recap, we've looked at how we define ourselves through the mirror of our parents, through the mirror of the society, through our own mirror, and through the mirror of God. And today is going to be last conversation on the issue of identity. And we're going to look at how we define ourselves through the mirror of the devil. And this is a very easy one to deal with. We always look at it as the most difficult one, but it's the easiest one, and I'll tell you why. The devil can't do anything to you until you let him. It's not as powerful as we think. We always think like the devil is that monster that will grab you in the neck and just force you to do things. Actually, if the devil were to be a man, he would be the most handsome man around. It's because it doesn't come like an enemy. It comes like a friend, and he dialogues with you and negotiates with you. And he uses the same trick that he used in the past. He plays on your mind. What the devil targets is your mind. He puts the mirror in your mind. And the moment you look at that mirror and you continue to look at that mirror, you will make that decision to accept the image that is positioning with you. And I'll use a couple of examples to help us understand how the devil plays his trick on us. The first trick he played on humanity was on Eve. And when he went to that woman, he didn't go to her as an enemy. I'm trying to get something in our head right now, so that you're not out there looking for an enemy. Actually, it's not every friendly person that is a friend. And we're always looking for an unfriendly person to help us decide who the enemy is. The enemy is actually a close person to you, and you don't know. Because if I come to you as an enemy, guess what? You're prepared. But if I come with an agenda, because I have a target, I'm not going to let you know what my motive or agenda is, because all I wanted to do is to get you. And if I'm telling you I'm going to get you, then you'll be ready. That's why I love people that will tell me, okay, you know what, I'm going to kill you tomorrow, just get ready. Because I know what I'm dealing with. But dealing with people that tell you one thing, and what you're saying is different from what they are saying, it's difficult. And when you confront them, they get you confused. That's the devil for you. So talking about Eve, he went to the woman and started the conversation. So what's going on with you? And Eve was like, oh, he's so nice, he's friendly. God doesn't even talk to us like this. I think he has a point. And he didn't have the information he needed to work with. most of the things that the devil uses against you, you volunteer them. You will be the one that will give the devil the weapon to use against you, because he doesn't have any. The Bible says that he uses wiles and schemes. That's all he uses. He's a schemer. So he went to the woman and was asking her questions, and the woman was not discerning. This is very important for you. When people are asking you questions, sometimes you don't answer the question, you question the question. Because you need to know where people are coming from before you volunteer information. And if you don't understand the motive and you volunteer information, it can be deadly. That was what happened to Eve. Eve was very naive, and the devil played on her mind and made her to doubt the integrity of God, made her to doubt her own identity, made her to doubt the blessings in her life. And the same trick is being played on many of us up till now. She looked at the woman and said, oh, you know what? You are inferior to God. Guess what? I have a gift for you. If you can eat these fruits, you will be like God, and you will be equal to God. And Eve was like, you know what? Let me go think about it. I don't want to assume that it was the first day. She woke up in the night, she looked at the fruit. God must be hiding something from me, because this fruit is so beautiful. Because remember, the Bible says that she beheld the fruit and saw that the fruit was good. So it took a process of time. What I'm trying to establish here is that the devil is never in a hurry. He will give you enough time to get you to the point of conviction to do what you need to do yourself. He won't do it for you. He will make you do whatever you want to do against yourself by yourself. So the devil can't make you do anything until you cooperate with him. So the woman fell for the manipulation. She doubted the integrity of God, and she lost her true identity. And many are losing their true identity even up till now. So you cannot achieve anything with a mindset of doubt. Anytime you have doubt, I promise you, you can move forward. Like, okay, if I go to school, maybe I'll fail. If I take this class, maybe I'll fail. You won't have the drive to get it done. So, I mean, all of you are in college, and the truth is there will be situations that will confront you. You need to confront your doubt. There's nothing difficult that you cannot overcome if you believe in yourself. But when you look at the mirror the devil is putting in your face that, yeah, you can do this, that's going to cripple you. So it's not actually the problem or the class or the professor that cripples you, is what is in your own head. Well, let me talk more about doubt. I know some of you know the story of Peter. He was doing very well. Peter was doing very well, walking on the water. Nobody in life has done that before. He started very well, and then he looked at himself. I'm not good enough. He was looking at that mirror of doubt. This cannot be me doing this. And the moment he doubted, he started sinking. You cannot accomplish greatness when you have a mind of doubt. You stop projects that can open you up to destiny when you have doubt. And to overcome the devil, you have to overcome your doubt. That's one of his strategies. Another mirror that he puts in our face is manipulation. And that one is tricky. Because manipulative people, you know what they do? They give you half truth. And when you're trying to question things, they tell you, boy, I told you, but you didn't tell me everything. So half truth is absolute lie. When that happens to you, because you can't use half truth, you don't know you can't say it's a lie. You're stuck in the middle. and they put you in a position that your mind is unsettled. And that's one of the things that the devil uses. And what that does is to get you confused. And in a confused state, you cannot make a good decision. That's one thing that he uses. And he can't use that on you if you don't allow people to manipulate you. People can only manipulate you. The devil can only manipulate you to the extent you allow them. Does it make sense? So you have to own your life. Stop looking at the mirror manipulators are putting in front of you. If they manipulate you on this issue, I promise you they will manipulate you on other issues. The other mirror that the devil puts in front of us is insecurities. And what that breeds is anxiety. I will be honest, I've had to deal with insecurity before. And when you are insecure, it puts you in a compromising state. Because insecurity makes you kind of give up things that you would not normally want to give up, because you're looking for security at all costs. You cannot afford to deal with insecurity. Because when you feel insecure, you sell yourself cheap. You need to be confident in yourself. I'm not talking about arrogance. I'm talking about confidence. They are two different things. Confidence puts you in a position to know that you don't need any man to survive. You need God to survive. And don't let people brainwash you. When you're insecure, the devil takes advantage of you to make you compromise things that you shouldn't compromise, because you're looking for security. And a lot of women have been victims of this abuse. That's what leads to abuse. Because the abuser continues to abuse you, but you stay in the abuse because you're not secured in yourself. You feel like you can't survive without that person. There's nobody in this person. The only person you need is God. I know this may sound controversial, but it's the truth. Because when you're emotionally manipulated because of your own insecurity, you make yourself a prey in the hand of the devil. And he will send people to your life that will use that against you. They will take, and it happens to men too. So it's both. I mean, I don't want to be gender specific here, but I want to say this, that when you look at yourself and all you see is an insecure person, you even make enemies or friends. Because when you see people that can help you, you see them as a threat. Another one, and this is the worst of all, is the mirror of fear. And we all have to deal with this at some point. If you're not dealing with it now, you probably have dealt with it in the past, and trust me, you're still going to deal with it in the future. And this is crippling. It's tormenting. And it's not real. That's the worst of all. And the devil uses fear to make us not take advantage of opportunities that God brings our ways. Fear of failure has hindered many people from starting in the face of opportunities. I remember the story of the children of Israel when Joshua sent them out to go spy the land. They were so afraid of these people. And they forgot the covenant of God over their lives. And when they came back, they were like, you know what? We feel like grasshoppers in their faces. These people didn't say anything to them because they were spies. So that tells me that they were not in conversation with those people, because if they knew them to be spies, they would have arrested them. But in their head, they had this uncertain fear that prevented them from taking advantage of opportunities that God gave them. And the same thing is still happening to us. We have opportunity in school to apply for scholarship, but you're afraid they're not going to give you. The worst they will say is no. You have opportunity to become whoever you want to be, but you're afraid it's not going to work out, and you're not making an attempt. And what you have not attempted, you cannot achieve. So you need to confront your fear, because it puts you in a perpetual state of doom. And we all have different. I used to have be afraid of heights. That when I'm climbing like an overhead bridge, I used to have these feelings like I was going to just die. I mean, I can't explain. I can't even use words to explain it. It's really bad. But I had to confront it. And the way I confronted it was personal. Because I had to start speaking to myself. Like, I won't die. I won't fall. I had to start saying something opposite of the voices I was hearing. And it's very important that we make sure that we overcome our fear if we want to make it in life. But I still will have to address the issue of fear, because it's all over the place. Fear of getting married, fear of not getting married, fear of raising children, fear of not raising children, fear of good health, fear of sickness, fear of failure, fear of success. Anything you want to do comes with fear. And if you don't confront those fears, they will mess you up. Job is a classic example. The man was doing fine. But you know what attracted the devil to him? He attracted the devil. Though we look at it like, oh yeah, the devil was the one that went to go. But I'm looking at it from a different angle. Because he said it when the tragedy happened to him. He said the fear, or the things that I feared most has happened to me. When you have fear, it attracts negative things into your life. And that's why you have to be conscious of that mirror. When you look at yourself in the mirror in the morning, you have to speak positive things to yourself. Those things that you are afraid of, if you are afraid of, maybe for instance, taking a particular class, you have to start speaking positive towards that. I'm not going to succeed in this class. I won't fail this class. I'm not saying don't study, but I'm saying confront your fear first. Because if you go and attend that class in a fearful state, you won't even have the focus to be able to succeed. And the last one is pride. This is a very dangerous one, because it puts you in a position that you cannot get anything from God. God resists the proud. When you look at the mirror of pride in the hands of the devil, it puts you in a position that you cannot get anything from God. And simply put, it's an exaggerated sense of yourself. When you have this exaggerated sense of yourself and you believe you're always right, nobody can do it better than you, you're superior to everybody, you're ready for downfall. Because at the end of the day, nobody even will bother to correct you, admonish you, advise you, and even God cannot correct you. And that has destroyed many people. Pride. And that's one of the tricks that the devil uses against us in our mind. And it's a mindset. And lastly, I think it's important to talk about how do you stop negative voices in your head, because all these things are things that plays on in your mind. It's all in your mind, so they are not things that you can interact with physically. And so I think it's important to talk about how do you deal with all those negative voices, the voices of doubt, the voices of manipulation, the voices of insecurity, the voices of fear, the voices of pride. How do you deal with all those negative things that are playing on in your head? And it's very simple. When you start hearing those voices, you need to start speaking against it. You cannot think when you are talking. Do you want to try it? You cannot think when you're talking. So when you have a thought of like, oh, you're going to fail, and you start talking, I will succeed, that voice is going to keep quiet. So anytime a negative voice is coming up in your head and you know this is not what God is saying about my life, this is not what I want for my life, you need to start speaking what you want to silence that voice. It will come through practice. And the reason is you have to own your life. And it's complex. Because you look at all that I've been talking about in the past 5 weeks, you have to deal with the mirror of your parents. And they can only give you what they have. And you can't fault them for what they don't know. Because somebody raised them to be like that. And they were victim of a society too. I'm not excusing that. You have to deal with the voice of the mirror of the society. Your teachers. And many people have been a victim of the educational system. The entertainment industry. Your peers. Neighbors. Pastors. Don't let me even go there. Religious leaders. You have to deal with all those mirrors. You have to deal with the mirror of God. The most important mirror, but it's difficult because God will never force you to take Him. He will give you the option to take Him. If God could force everybody, then we won't have problem. Like Jesus just come and drag you and drag me, that by force you have to follow, then we won't have a choice. But because He cannot violate Himself, He has given us self-will to choose. It becomes difficult because we have all these other things competing with our identity. And the one that is easy to forgo is which one? Your true identity. Because it's not being forced upon you. You have to accept who you are. And many of us, we want to accept the person our parents wants us to be because we are kind of dependent on them in a way, or indebted to them, whichever one is applicable. Or we want to accept the mirror of the society because we want to be accepted by them. Or we want to accept the mirror of probably religious leaders because we think they are God. Or the mirror of the devil because he put fears in our hearts. But the mirror of God we live, and that's the one we still have to go back to, because at the end of the day, until you accept who you are, you cannot never find fulfillment.